How we doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Ray?
Just living the dream, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess. Are we the only ones here besides
So
Dan?
I saw Mr. Little on, and
Let's
I
see.
think Dave Chaco, maybe? I'm not sure on that.
Let's see participants.
Hello, Commissioner. My name is Dominique. I'm the city clerk. I'm filling in for Jackie this evening. I do have, oh, I see Commissioner Veronica just came over. You are currently the only 3 members currently logged on. So Chair, whenever you're ready, you can let me know. I think for your commission, let me double check your quorum.
I believe we need 4 for quorum.
Yeah, let me double check.
Yeah.
All right, so you have, yes, you have 6 members, so you'll need 1 more to proceed with the meeting for this evening.
Let me text, see where Alex is or Ramona.
Oh, I have Alex in the waiting room. I'm bringing him over now.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Hi, Alex.
Hi there.
Hi, Veronica.
Hey, Alex.
Hi.
Good evening, guys.
There's 4 of us, which represents a quorum. Should we just begin?
Yes, you can call the meeting to order.
Okay. This is the February 8th meeting for the Neighborhood Improvement Commission. I call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Can we get a roll call to establish the quorum, please?
Commissioner Royden,
Here.
Commissioner Velasco,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Olita Reed, Vice Chair Alexander, and Chair LeBeouf.
Present.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you. So tonight's agenda, do we have reviewed last month's agenda? Is there any thing to add to it? Has anything been added to it since Jackie posted it? Okay. Seeing as there isn't anything, we'll move on to number 4, public comment. Is there anybody wishing to make a public comment at this time?
Chair, no members of the public are present at this time, but I will acknowledge that Vice Chair Alexander has joined the meeting.
Oh, welcome, Dennis. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, is there any business to be taken care of? No, we do, excuse me. Our business for tonight is the consideration of projects to utilize NIC funds. I'm opening for discussion. I believe we have, I just got home from work, forgive me. Alex, do you want to lead off with this?
Sure, it's a very simple topic. There's the $108,000 roughly a balance left over for the NIC to recommend ideas to the Seaside City Council. And so if we don't present those ideas before the next cycle, we could potentially lose that funding. So we want to make sure that we are making recommendations to the council when we do have funds available.
Okay, thank you. So does anybody have any recommendations for the utilization of these funds? Does anybody want to
Start
start?
with me.
Go on.
May I ask, are there, or Alex as well, are there parameters around it? I mean, this is something that's kind of new for me anyways on this commission. This is a lot more than we had years ago. So I'm just wondering, are there any parameters as far as, so I think Ray mentioned one time or last time sidewalks. So anyway, I mean, that's a big project, something I was thinking about, maybe a big project. So what are the qualification parameters around using these funds for our projects?
I could kind of take a stab at that, only because I have some knowledge. Anything that we approve needs to be approved by the city council. So as long as it makes that jump, I think, and it relates to neighborhood improvement as a whole, I don't think that there's anything on or off limits except for those two criteria.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Little might be able to elaborate more.
Mr. Little?
Right, so I was just going to bring to the attention of the commission that that the arts and history, I understand, might have some things that they would like to bring forward at some point, and possibly Parks and Recreation as well.
Bring forward to us to work together or for funding?
Correct, for the Neighborhood Improvement Commission to consider as part of the how these funds can be recommended, or portions of them.
Is there,
Sorry.
go on, Veronica, I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, I wasn't sure if Mr. Little was finished yet. When he's done, I'll go and make a comment.
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay. Okay, so one of my suggestions was if we can see about putting in an electronic bulletin board over by City Hall. When you're passing by, we can use that for many things to, promote businesses or anything that's going on within the city. I mean, double-sided on both sides, because really we don't have anything like that. I think it could really be something that we can, I don't know, I think there's a lot of uses for that. That's one of my recommendations.
Outstanding. Dennis?
If I may, yeah, one thing I've been thinking about as well, and is some sort of community garden, whether it be vegetable, whether it be just plants, some sort of community garden. They've got one in Sand City. I know Sand City is a much different city in the seaside, but they made it work there. And the way it works, I understand, is that members can get a plot. Now there will be a lot that would go in this, where protection and whatnot, but that's one thing that I'd like to see.
So you'd like to see us start a community garden? Or
At least think about it and see what we have to do. Yeah, I would, as far as improving neighborhoods, I think that would be one way to do so. To get community members involved in their neighborhood, taking care of a plot, and bring back some greenery to the city in different places.
interesting. Ray?
Sidewalks. I think for the aesthetics of Seaside, safety for the elderly, especially walking up and down these streets with no sidewalks. And I don't know what it costs, but maybe we could get the city to donate some of their money into our kitty to start the project, and then carry it on every year. Do a little bit at a time. It's my suggestion.
Okay, we need to find out whether or not, yeah, because we gotta figure out if the city can help out with that, because I mean, honestly, that's what we pay taxes for, and we're not seeing any benefits from it. And my only concern is, once we start in one area and, there's gonna be more added to it, and we're not gonna have the funds to be able to meet those needs. Because, I mean, we need sidewalks. I don't disagree with that.
Well, isn't, my understanding is this money will be coming to us every year because it's piggybacked on the income from, God, I can't think of it. Can you help me, Alex? How did we get this money at the beginning? From the Airbnbs, correct? So the Airbnbs aren't going away.
Right.
And the income will keep coming in, just that we would allocate so much every year to be dropped on the sidewalks, and then the city would maybe hopefully chipped in. I mean, I think we gave them 40 grand last year or something like that. Maybe we could work as a team to help us out on this, because it's really needed, really is. For a big city like ours, it should have sidewalks everywhere.
Alex, do we have some, or help me, please?
Sorry, I missed the question.
Do we get a lump sum in a yearly payment, so to speak? Oh, Mr. Miller. Mr. Little, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I'm looking at Dennis, and I'm looking at Dennis. I see you.
Okay, I was just gonna answer a couple of questions that I can answer. So the funds that we're talking about are 50% of the short-term rental TOT tax. It's a transient tax that licensed short-term rentals in the city of Seaside are required to pay. And so half of the TOT tax goes into a fund, and then that fund is kind of a put back in the community fund that the Neighborhood Improvement Commission provides the recommendations on how to spend those funds. Now, it can vary. It's not just a lump sum. It varies based upon the revenue and the occupancy that's brought in from those short-term rentals. So it might vary from year to year. It can be reasonably projected. However, it will continue unless the city council makes a decision otherwise. Okay, so as long as it continues to have the support of the city council ultimately makes the decision as to whether or not that will continue.
Okay.
So can they vote one night to eliminate the 50%, or does it have to go out to the public? Because wasn't that part of the agreement with Airbnbs or short-term rentals, that some of the money would go to beautify Seaside? Or I wasn't around when this all happened, but I'm just curious.
That's a very good question. And the answer is yes, the city council, they can make that decision if they wanted to go ahead and change that. Now, you know, it may be something where they would, you know, consider the community input. You know, they do on items before they vote and make decisions. They do put it out to the public for public comments and public input. But they're, you know, they're elected to represent kind of the voice of the citizens of the community. So if it's something that the community is strongly behind, then they would, you know, it would make sense that they would represent that position.
Through the chair, I just wanted to add one thing. It's actually it's codified in the code now the language of our, so in order to change, they have to change the code, and it would be 2 meetings to change the code. There'd be 1 meeting, and then they would do a second read on that, if I understand it correctly. Is that correct, Mr. Little?
Yeah, there would be a process for this. I wouldn't expect that this
So
would,
Ray, if they were to do that, you would know of the process more than
Yeah.
likely we would know. And we could go and speak our opinion.
Well, I think it's a long time overdue that that someone steps up and we try to get the sidewalks done. I know in the past that they had the homeowners chip in, I guess. I'm not for sure on that. Someone was telling me that story. They had to pay part of their concrete to be poured on their street and all that. But I think I'm all for this concrete thing. It might go on for a few years, no doubt about it. Can't do it all at once, but it sure does beautify things. That's all.
Does anybody other, oh, hi, Ramona.
Hi,
Do you have any, how are you?
doing okay, thank you.
Good. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, appears as though it's going to be knocked down, but because it's along the lines of what Ray was saying. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, I always felt that the across the street, Canyon Del Rey across the street from the Embassy Suites needed sidewalks because we have so many activities in that area. But I understand from the staff member at one of the parks that I was working on, that person said that it was probably going to be done by Caltrans, so I'm not going to suggest that. And I you know, so that's what I'm saying. Nothing.
Okay. I haven't really, I thought we were gonna, let me spit this out coherently. I wanted to go with some murals somewhere. Because we need art in the city, you know, like outdoors somewhere. And I was thinking we could get some artwork somewhere. Do we have a building or any place that we can, just murals? I mean, yes, Mr. Little.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep your.
Oh, go for it.
So one of the things that was expressed to me, and I guess this was coming by way of the Arts and History Commission, is you know, there is a mural that's on the fire station. The fire station is slated to be completely redone and painted, and this mural, I don't know a whole lot about it. I think it was put together and done by some young people and maybe a school. And the Arts and History Commission had kind of put the idea out that potentially replacing that mural or doing a mural of some sort on the fire station might be an idea that they would like to support.
Okay. I did have a question for you though. What is the status about the bridge? Because we had a subcommittee for the bridge over San Pablo, and there's been an issue. What's going on with that? I mean, can we go forward with it, or what's going on with that as far as putting up something? You know, our subcommittee already settled on something, and then we brought it back to the full commission. So I'm wanting to know what's going on with the bridge and whether or not we can move forward with the project.
Yeah, good. So what I can do is I can find out what the issue is with the bridge, and bring that back. Now, one thing I just wanted to suggest, I know that it was brought up in the last council meeting that there's some concerns about doing, having scheduled quarterly meetings. And so I wanted to just quickly suggest something that the Parks and Rec Commission is doing. They have just an ongoing running item on their agenda. It's at the very end of the agenda, and it just simply states something to the effect of whether or not to schedule a meeting for, a meeting for the following month. And if they don't have anything, then they just they'll go ahead and they'll pass on it. But if they have some things that they want to discuss and something, they'll go ahead and they'll schedule a special meeting. What it is it's just a placeholder that goes at the end of every one of their agendas. I haven't actually seen this placeholder. I was just told about it by Dan Mewis, and our recreation director. And so if that's something NIC would be interested in doing, we can certainly do that. And that would be an opportunity for, if you have questions for me that I'm unable to answer, if you'd like me to research something, get some information, get some kind of a city response for you, I can certainly provide that at the next meeting. I'm making notes, and I'll make a list of any questions that you might have. And so far we have the bridge. Find out what the status is on the bridge.
Well, this is for the funding. The 108,000 is for the for future projects, right? That we want to do.
Correct. Yeah, I don't. This is separate from the. Was it something like 180,000? I think previously that, and if I'm not mistaken, I think there was 66,000 that went towards sidewalk. And so if you want to recommend spending money toward sidewalks or something like that, where the city can then say, hey, we'll also spend money towards that to make that happen. I can work with the engineer on that to find out what their plans are, where they're working, and if there's any kind of a shortfall to go ahead and get something completed.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I was just curious if I could ask Commissioner Reardon if he could tell us what areas of Keystone he thinks are in need of the sidewalks.
Well, like I said, right across from Embassy Suites, but on over, oh gosh, there's so many
Prospect.
of them. Huh?
Prospect.
Prospect?
Can you hear me? Prospect.
Oh, okay. They're
Yeah,
on down
Prospect and Trinity.
Trinity, exactly. Down Kenneth, all the way down
Further-
there. There's there's some right over let's see, it'd be west of Noche Buena by Mouse on down that hill. I can't think of the streets. There's a lot of bad area there. There's quite a bit, but there's not a lot that we couldn't tackle, in a couple of years. And but that's where I was thinking.
Okay.
And I also had one other
Can I
suggestion that someone brought up to me, and that is to purchase flags that would be flown on holidays to go up and down Fremont Boulevard and on Broadway, all the way down the roads. And they would put holes in the sidewalks or whatever, and we would put flags in each hole to fly on holidays. 4th of July, Martin Luther King Day, good holidays to celebrate that would have everybody participate. Be a boatload of flags, but it show what America's all about, you know. Mal's right behind me. He does that on the holidays. His parking lot looks pretty cool. So,
Along those lines,
Ramona?
along those lines of the flag, I did think it, well, I thought maybe during Christmas, get rid of those funky Christmas decorations on Fremont and put banners up instead, similar to the way Monterey has their Lighthouse Avenue and other areas. But I do like that too. Just some kind of banners or that can be hung on those poles instead of those. I don't like them, those decorations, so-called decorations that are on Fremont during the holiday, but I might be alone on that. Taste is in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Dennis?
So I guess this is what I meant, but when I asked about parameters, it sounds like some things we're talking about right now, you know, flags on Fremont, whatnot. We're getting a little bit away from the neighborhoods,
Correct.
which we're all about. You know, the city does some of those things as it is already, the flags on the 4th of July, but you know, those are major thoroughfares. We're getting further and further away then from where people actually live. And that's why I asked that. Are we concentrating on you know, the blocks where the houses are, where people live, the neighborhoods? And with that, are we just brainstorming tonight, or are we going to start all then looking at the wins and losses for each possible project?
Question. I think we need to just come up with suggestions for the city for tonight. That's why we're having this meeting. I think we're just brainstorming right now, but we need to get some concrete suggestions so that it can be recommended to the city. Yes.
Okay. Well, that being the case, then as I mentioned earlier, I'd like us to explore where we can put in community gardens. And I know that the Parks Commission has wanted to do things with us in the past, and our parks do need help, and they're part of the neighborhood. It's where you know, they're right in the middle of our neighborhoods. It's where people go to celebrate their free time, and our parks do need help, although that is mainly under the realm of the Parks and Rec Commission. I see no reason why we can't work together on things.
I see that we have a question from Miss Diane Nielsen. She wants, so can we go to public input for a sec?
Ms. Nielsen, you now have the floor to make your public comment.
Thank you. I'm Diane Nielsen, City of Seaside resident. Good evening, Neighborhood Commission. I like some of the ideas that you've talked about, but recently there's been a sort of a revival of people interested in parks and park improvement, and you know, we've done that. You graciously gave us, the Parks and Rec Commission, money to buy trees. We've planted over 25 trees or tree-like shrubs over this time period. We're almost finished, and that's been wonderful. I don't know if you've had a chance to go around and look at them. Most of them were planted in FOSPA parks because they have a strong link to their parks. And one of the things that is happening now is people are wanting to be able to walk safely on those pathways like Lincoln Cunningham, Mescal Neal, Havana Solis, and the pathways are deteriorated. they could be refurbished with, I would like to suggest that you consider having some of those sidewalks, or not sidewalks, but pathways that are, they're like tar, I guess. And they could be redone. And I think they could be redone as a repair instead of a total going to ADA and that sort of thing, because they're already there. And they could do a fairly inexpensive redo of those so people can walk safely on those and push their baby carriages, walk their dogs without tripping, and that sort of thing. So I think right now we have a big opportunity between the community, FOSPA, your commission, and the Parks and Rec Commission, and the city to really make a difference in some of our parks right now. And speaking of Dennis's idea for the community garden, Havana Solis would be a really good place for that, because there are vegetables planted there now by Robert Daniels, who is stewarding that park. Thank you so much for listening to my rambling.
No, thank you for your input.
Chair,
Yes.
can you list the items that have been suggested so far?
Veronica recommends an electronic bulletin board by City Hall, two-sided bulletin board. Dennis wants the community garden, and Ray sidewalks.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Oh, and you wanted decorations.
Well, Christmas decorations for Fremont.
Does anybody else have any suggestions or ideas?
I did have one more suggestion, sorry. I know it's a very big one, but I don't know if you've seen the sign in Salinas. I know we did a sign already, the sign that you first enter, that one sign that says Seaside. But I did like the way that Salinas has their sign in Old Town Salinas. It looks really nice. I thought it would look nice when you first drive in from right there by Other Brother. Let me see if I can share the screen. I don't know, have you guys seen that sign? I can imagine it's very expensive, but
No.
again, okay.
Million, I think it was $1 million.
Oh, okay, then never mind, my bad. So something like that. I wanted something, I do like, I do remember, I mean, the murals, I've always wanted murals. I like the way that Sand City has it going on, we call it the Sand City, that has the murals all around. I love the way that it looks. I think it looks really nice. I took pictures of some suggestions that I think I told Alex before, some places I thought around town. I mean, but then again, like we say, are we trying to go into the neighborhoods, or, I don't know. I mean, we need something needs to be done around here. Like when you see those murals, I just like, wow, they are so nice, and it makes it a fun place and a happy place to live. But I like the mural idea, and I do like the flags that Ray had mentioned. I thought that would be nice too, because I do live by Mall's grocery, and I like when he puts up those flags. It looks really nice. I like the idea of Ramona's taking out those old school Christmas stuff. I mean, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I like that. As far as the garden, I like it, but I thought there was one before, and it didn't take off. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure how that maintains, who's watering them. I don't know how that's going to happen. You take care of. I hate to see a lot of, you put into that. And I mean, even I tried to do a garden and I didn't work out. So I'm just want to know how that would work. So, we can keep who's maintaining that? Now, that was another question for that. So that's what I have.
Those are valid questions. Yeah, I I agree. So do we take a vote on this or do we eliminate process of elimination? Yes, Dennis.
I know this is ongoing, or at least we hope it's going to be ongoing, but we've had a few now in the past year, is just continue with our cleanups in cooperation with green waste. And I know that's not a whole lot of money, but I would like to see that as something ongoing, couple, 3 times a year. You know, we've been having it happen recently, so I just want to see that as part of our projects. I don't know if that's for tonight because that's something that's already been established ongoing, but just want to make sure that we continue doing that.
So can you, from what I understand, you're saying you want more cleanups throughout the year?
If we can. I know that, you know, we had one in September, we're having one again next month. So it's looking like it's biannually right now, and that might be fine, that might be enough, especially since they're going to be citywide. That might be enough, but I just want to see that we are able to continue that, you know, going forward.
Okay.
Can I address the community garden that Dennis brought up originally, and then Diane Nielsen spoke to it?
Yes.
That is true that we have Mr. Daniels is the steward of that park. Each park of FOSPA, each one has a steward, and he's the one starting that community garden. So that's what FOSPA is all about. Friends of Seaside Parks Association, we would keep that watered and tended to, especially Mr. Daniels, who's doing an outstanding job. He did it all by himself without the help of FOSPA, and then he joined us. So I think giving a little bit of money to that project would be good. I don't think it would be very much, but it certainly would help that vast space of Havana Solis. Diane Nielsen is correct in that. That space is, I don't know if you've all been to that park, but it's huge and needs the attention, which it's getting from FOSPA. But Mr. Daniels is the steward of that park.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay, so let's revisit. We've got electronic bulletin board by City Hall, community garden, maybe in conjunction with some cooperation with FOSPA. Sidewalks, flags for Fremont. Is that the flags? That's a really great idea, but like Dennis was saying, that is on a main thoroughfare as opposed to our neighborhoods.
Well, that's a whole thing. I think we have to determine if we're going in the neighborhood or it's just in Seaside. Because if you just say it's in the neighborhoods, then that eliminates your bulletin board, that eliminates the murals and the flags. So then you're really down to concrete and the garden.
Yeah.
So I think maybe put it up for vote if it's going to be throughout the city. I'm a big opponent, not opponent. I believe in downtown Seaside is part of the neighborhood. We all go down there and shop. We all enjoy it. We all go, so it's part of the community. And but I just think it'd be cool to do the flag since we have 13 holidays to deal with. And you know, Washington's birthday, Cesar Chavez, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Martin Luther King Day, I mean, Veterans Day, all those could be having those flags flown up and down those roads. and people enjoy looking at it. I think it's pretty cool.
My only concern with all those, I wouldn't say all the other holidays, then we're going to have to start recognizing Eid and, other holidays that aren't, we're going to have flags every day. all
Why would
month.
we have to do that? I
Because
don't
you're
know.
talking Cesar Chavez, I mean, is that
Oh, no, I just threw that,
Oh,
in.
okay,
We
I'm
would
like-
have to vote on the holidays that we would do the American flag. I mean, of course you wouldn't do Cesar Chavez, but you do Labor Day, that's for everybody. Puts it all in there. Veterans Day. I mean, there's just a lot of people that live here that want to go the American way, kind of. I'm big on that, and I'd rather spend that. But I think we should put a vote of we're going to include downtown or not, because if it does, it eliminates 3 of them right there.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I think I'm getting close to making a motion.
Okay.
And the commission has said over and over again that the sidewalks, and so out of 108,000 that we have, I personally would like to see half of that money be used for sidewalk repair and for sidewalk replacement, however far that gets us. I don't know how that's decided, but I'd like to see half of that go to that. And then I'd like to see many times in the past, several times, people have come to this very commission asking for a community garden. And FOSPA and they're working on our parks. I mean, parks are how we develop our youth. So I strongly do think that we need to invest, as much help with the parks and rec. And I know that last time we talked about, well, that money should just be used for the NIC, but I see the NIC working with other parts, other commissions, because the parks and rec are right in our community. They're in our neighborhoods. The arts and history, same thing. So I think for the remainder, besides the 20, the half for the sidewalks, I think we should allow the Parks and Rec Commission, give them a percentage to come up with a community garden and work with us, and also possibly for planting trees. So I'd like to work with those numbers. And does anybody else have any suggestions on how we can work with the 108,000? I like the sidewalks, so half, or what does the commission think about actual numbers here?
Well, I'd like to talk to that. We've got 7 or 8 suggestions. Shouldn't we just narrow it down first? Kind of like, Alex, how we did the seaside sign. We had to eliminate some of them and work with maybe 3, and then figure out how we're going to divide the money amongst those 3 or 4 or 5, whichever one you think is good. I think we should narrow it down first, though, because we've got 8 suggestions, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Chair, if I may.
Yes, Dennis, please.
And in our narrowing down, if we're going to do that, correct me if you all think I'm wrong, but I thought one of the purposes of coming up with these projects, because we got $108,000 needs to be used up. So if otherwise we won't get it again if we can't use it. So we have to, I feel, is be able to use this money. And if it does take 7 projects to do so, then we have to consider that.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Does anybody know how, I thought they were working on some sidewalks already. They were shaving them down and repairing. They actually did some in front of my house. I'm not sure, maybe David might know that. I mean, how much more is needed to, maybe we could just, like you said, just eliminate and get all the sidewalks done and just get that over with. And in order to get to the parks, you got to walk there. Some people are walking there, so sidewalks might be the main focus. I don't know. I don't know how much more is needed for that. Maybe that's something to consider.
Well, I was more in putting in new sidewalks. It's not shaving them down. It's none of that. It's putting in sidewalks in front of homes that do not have sidewalks. Because a lot of those people that are living on those streets are elderly people
And kids.
and kids. And it should have been done a long time ago. And I don't know what happened with the city 10 years ago or whatever, but you know,
Oh, now that's a whole different thing. I agree with that now. Now that you said that, you're right. There is a lot of places that don't have sidewalks, and
Yeah.
yeah, that is absolutely true. That should be a main focus.
and it increases the property value when people are looking at homes. You know, has sidewalk, has a driveway, has this, has that. I mean, it
Agreed.
improves.
It does make a big difference. It looks nice, and it's
Yeah.
it's needed.
Another suggestion too, in lieu of concrete, is maybe decomposed granite.
Oh,
So
there,
that looks nice sometimes in front of homes. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I have decomposed granite right in front of, well, I had to put it in myself, but because I didn't have a sidewalk and I couldn't afford that, so I did the decomposed granite. So that's another.
that is a great suggestion. Never thought of that.
Okay, so do we want to concentrate, take Alex's suggestion and concentrate on the sidewalks and the community garden with in cooperation or in it, I can't think of the word right now, with Parks and Rec?
Well, can you go down, Chair, can you just go down the list and see how many hands we get for which one gets the most traction? The most hands, like if sidewalks is high up there, but we all agree on sidewalks, then definitely it should be one of a priority. If we only get one hand on the flag and one hand on the community garden and 5 on the electronic bulletin board, so
Mhm.
we have to know where we all stand on each one, which ones are the most popular,
Okay,
needed.
well, why don't I just ask most hands. Why don't I ask each one of you? Okay, so we have the electronic bulletin board by City Hall.
I'm gonna go ahead and if I can I just remove that item because I thought that was something else, and now that Ray went into detail about that, I want to go ahead and just remove that. Could I just do that now?
Oh. Sure.
Chair,
Yes, Dennis.
I want to just clarify something. First of all, I don't know if Alex had actually made a motion, but I thought he said half towards sidewalks and half towards other. So I don't know if what Ramona said, if everything goes to sidewalks, if we all say, for example, vote for sidewalks and nobody votes for anything else, that kind of goes against what I thought Alex was saying. So maybe Alex can clarify if that was a motion, first of all, and what he actually meant.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said I was close to making a motion. I was thinking it through my head. I did not yet. But I think that if we go through each of the items like we talked about and see this traction, I mean, we can divide this up a little bit. So, I mean, if we put $80,000 for sidewalks, 25,000 for community garden or parks and trees, and then 3,000 for the cleanups, that's 108,000. So now
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards that because I see the commission is kind of gearing towards sidewalk replacement there. And hopefully the city will match us, or they'll be in support of that. What do you think?
Yeah, I it might not be half going to sidewalks. Even if there was, everyone voted on sidewalks, doesn't mean sidewalks is going to get 160. You know, it's even one, if the flag's got one vote, then maybe we can give them 10, 10 grand. I didn't mean it that we're just gonna, no, anyways, I can't express
So-
myself. well tonight, I'm sorry.
No,
Can I ask, on the gardens, have we done it in the past at different places? And was it a good thing? Did it work or didn't it work, or why did it fail? Does anybody know that?
I don't think this.
The only effort in the past it has that I know of has been in the parks themselves. And Mr. Daniels, I know of his effort, but that's the only effort that I am aware of. But I was also thinking of beyond the parks. If there are places that we could put aside where neighbors could take a plot and grow, get to know their other neighbors.
Mhm.
And there would be a lot to talk about if we decided that was worth it.
Mhm.
But what brought this up basically is I was reading an article recently, in the city of Detroit created in the middle of one of the downtrodden places in the city, has done just that and looked beautiful. The neighbors got together and made a vegetable garden, which is huge, and they're all taking care of it. And if it can happen in Detroit, I don't see why it couldn't happen here.
so you're wanting to make on a vacant lot or some city property for this community garden, Dennis? Is that what I'm understanding? Because you're saying a plot of land. I'm trying to envision what you're meaning by that. Because, Seaside, where our houses are close together in the neighborhood.
Right.
So where would you, aside from the parks, are you wanting to ask the city for a plot of land or something that they could donate?
If that's a possibility, I haven't done all the research, and I just wanted to bring it up tonight. And I thought we were brainstorming, so I just want to bring it up.
Right. No,
to
that's
see
no.
what the what was possible. That's all.
Okay, so should I just go down the list and see what we got as far as how many votes or yeses or whatever?
I'd like to do that, yes.
Okay, so the community garden,
Or
1, 2, is that, Ramona, are you raising your hand? There
Yeah,
you go.
Yes, I'll say yes on the garden.
Okay, Veronica, so that's 2, 3, 4. Ray, did you want a community garden?
No.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sidewalks.
Yes, Veronica.
Okay, that's 6.
Shonda, with the mention that Ramona made about the decomposed granite, if we could look at that as well, with
Mhm.
might actually cost less.
Decomposed granite. I've never heard of that. I'll have to look that up too.
Yeah.
Is it, it would lower the costs and
It might, as I understand, I've done a little bit of research on this as well, but what it does is it helps prevent flooding, because the water sinks in and helps, and then other plants gather that water for their strength. So it's actually a really good idea.
so it's good for the environment too. Okay. Flags for Fremont up and down Broadway.
Oh, just me.
Okay. Christmas decorations for Fremont for the holidays.
I say yes on that.
Okay.
I'd say yes.
Okay.
thank you, Ray.
Mhm. I like that idea.
6 of us. Let's see. So can I want to clarify something? Ms. Nielsen was brought up about the refurbishing the pathways in the parks. Or do we want to use that part of the sidewalks? Do we want to combine it with the sidewalks? Do we want to combine it with community garden? How do we, or do you want to use that as, you want to include, want to have that as a separate item?
Yeah, I think community garden goes along with the improvement to park.
Okay,
I just didn't know exactly where, I wish you would have had me, let me know. I'm trying to vision what this clearing the path looks like make it into a
Yeah.
trail. I don't know what it looks
there,
like.
from what I understand, no, there's some pathways in the park, you know, like, walking paths within the park that need to be refurbished.
I actually like that idea. I mean, it makes it look nice and clean. If there's somebody that can do that, yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah, you have to go visit Lincoln Cunningham and Havana Solis, and then you'll get an idea of what Diane was referring to.
Okay.
Okay. Dennis wants more neighborhood cleanups. As opposed, in addition to our, besides our 2 a year, or do you want?
At least a 2 a year.
Okay, so that's already, you've already got that. So you
Yeah,
want,
good. That's fine.
okay, you're fine with that?
Mhm.
Okay. So we have, yes,
The murals, you forgot murals.
well,
What do you think?
okay, murals.
I'm in for the murals. I want them. I at least want one or something.
At least one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ramona. I was gonna kind of leave that out. Okay, so if we have any, do we have any further additions to the list?
Can we clarify let's see, additional, let's see. How was it? Improvements to park / community garden. Can we get clarification on that one? The votes that were what? Was there any votes to community garden as well as the parks improvement? Can we lump that together, or would that be not right?
I'm assuming, that's why I asked about the Parks and Rec. Oh, community, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the Parks and Rec, working with Parks and Rec. That's a recommendation. So do we have any votes on that? To give funds to?
For
Well,
the
I think it
gardens
should-
in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2,
Yes.
so 5. I'm gonna pick this up, people. I really am. I'm just tripping over my tongue.
You're doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what I have here, the most votes I have, okay, the community garden with 5 votes, sidewalk with 6 votes, Christmas decorations with 6 votes, and we have 5 votes for Parks and Rec, working with Parks and Rec. Yeah, working with Parks and Rec.
And your mural.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Veronica. I've got notes all over the place, and 4 votes for the mural. So do we want to narrow, do we want to go with that? Yes, Mr. Little.
I'm sorry. You know what? I also had on my list, community cleanups. Is that just a unanimous?
Yeah.
Or will you vote? no?
Dennis,
Okay.
That's ongoing, so we're gonna, I think we're gonna continue with the 2 a year, which is ongoing.
Okay. So we're gonna, looking here, so for, to projects to utilize our funds, we have with the most votes, sidewalks, murals, Christmas decorations, and working with Parks and Rec. Does that sound right, Dennis?
Did you mention gardens? 'Cause I thought we had, I thought they had 5 votes.
I said community gardens.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion? That these are the ones we're going with?
I'll make a motion.
All right, Alex, thank you.
No, I'll second.
Well, let me say my motion
Yeah,
first.
he has to make a
Oh.
vote, he has to put it into words.
Excuse me, are we gonna try to fund all these with the 108? Or,
Yeah. I thought it was 180.
108?
Oh, it's 108.
Oh,
I don't think we're gonna be able to fund all of them, but we're at least putting money towards
Yeah.
the project to move
Yeah.
on to the next stage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Because I just don't,
We
yeah.
might get told we don't have enough money, or we might get told we can't do that. We don't know.
Yeah. Okay,
We can move on to the next one if we can't do,
So
Something.
here's my motion.
okay.
Here's my motion. My motion is to recommend to the city council, and I do think this has to be on another agenda, probably posted in advance for us to meet again on an agenda, is what I personally believe, but I'm not sure. But my motion is for, to allocate $70,000, to recommend $70,000 towards sidewalks, to recommend $20,000 towards a community garden, to recommend
okay. Sorry.
$5,000 for new holiday decorations, to recommend $10,000 for a new mural, and to recommend $3,000 for green waste cleanup projects, where that's a total of $108,000. That's my motion.
Green waste wasn't on there, Alex.
Yeah, greenways, we didn't have, it didn't get enough votes.
I think,
Well, I'll give that
Alex,
to
I think you said you're going to withdraw it because it's an ongoing project and we don't.
Right.
Okay, then I amend my motion to spend $3,000 to plant trees.
Plant trees.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Where's plant trees at?
That'd be like working with Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Because that goes to community garden then?
Yeah.
Community garden, because the Parks and Rec is going to be in charge of that community garden as well as FOSPA. So giving money to Parks and Rec is going to be giving it to a community garden on one of those parks, as well as make some improvements in the park. That's how I see it. That's how Miss Nielsen explained it. And if she's still on the line, maybe she could clarify that.
Ms. Nielsen, you now have the ability to speak.
Hi, I believe that more than anything, pathways that are existing should be part of that improvement. Trees could be part of the improvement too, but I think since we're looking at community garden and parks for people to be able to get there, take their families there, that the refurbishing of the deteriorating pathways would be important. But personally, anything to improve the parks, whether that's planting trees or not, would be desirable.
So Diane, are you saying that to give a lump sum, whatever that is, 20 grand to Parks and Recs, and you'll determine whether it should go to the pathways, trees, community garden, etc.? Does that sound plausible?
It sounds like the community garden is a priority and to let the Parks and Recreation decide what other part of that to make an improvement. Yes, basically what you said, but I think since,
But you'll determine that. Parks and Rec will determine what they're going to do with the money we give them. Is that correct?
right, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you. Alex, I missed what $10,000. I have 70,000 for sidewalks, 20,000 for the community garden, 5,000 for holiday decorations, 3,000 for planting trees, Parks and Recs, FOSPA, I have that down there. What was the 10,000?
Murals.
Murals. Thank you.
That's to explore it. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to do it. We're just
No, no.
10,000 to the side in case it comes about. And that's,
Right.
and if we can get it done for 10,000, we can do a mural. I've tried to get a mural in this city. I've had zero luck. So I don't know, maybe somebody else has better luck than me, but we can allocate 10,000. That's my motion. And of course I amend my motion to say that the 23,000 was going to be for the Parks and Rec to determine the feasibility of the garden, and if Dennis is okay with my amendment.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making a motion to allocate funds for exploration for 70,000 for the sidewalks, 20,000 community gardens, 5,000 holiday decorations, 3,000 for planting trees in conjunction with Parks and Rec and FOSPA, and $10,000 for the murals, and that equals $108,000. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Can we get a
Aye.
roll call? Oh, well, okay, let's do that. Are we, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye, Veronica.
Aye, Ramona.
We're doing a roll call vote or? Oh, okay, I did it.
Okay,
Hi, Ray.
Alex, yes.
okay, so we're all,
Your motion passes unanimous.
thank you. Yeah, words don't know words. All right. Okay, so can we go to the next item, reports from staff? Are there any reports?
Thank you. So there's been quite a bit of talk tonight about signs and flags. And so I wanted to just provide a little quick update. At the last city council meeting, there was quite a bit of discussion about the commemorative signs that were taken down along Broadway, the Obama Way signs. And
Right.
what occurred is the signs were being replaced, okay? Unfortunately, they were removed and they didn't have the new signs yet. And so they didn't get put up. It wasn't communicated very well to the community, and it created a little bit of a discussion at the last city council meeting. I just want you to know that two of the original Obama Way signs have been saved because they were in good condition, and they're going to be saved as kind of something that the city can hang on to. And the city saves various things. These signs were originally paid for by members of the community. They weren't paid for by the city, and but most of them were completely faded out. And so what's happening is they're ordered, they're being replaced, they're going to go back up. So they'll be up shortly. And it was just kind of an unfortunate. It was a lack of communication, and what I think even added to the issue of as you know, the city currently hangs commemorative or social awareness flags at City Hall. And so, currently it's Black History Month. There's a flag that's flying that signifies and represents Black History Month. And so add that to the fact that the Obama way signs came down and nobody knew what happened to them. So it was just kind of a little bit of a miscommunication. But I wanted to just let everybody know what happened, and they should be going up soon. That's my report.
Thank you. Are there any other reports from staff? Or, okay,
None.
thank you. Commissioner reports. Do we have any commissioner reports? Dennis?
Not a report, just a question. You've all seen the communication I had with Ms. Treat at Green Waste, and Mr. Little, you'd all seen had put an amount that we still have that could be put towards the next cleanup and the spots that Mr. Soto had provided me. Do you want me to go ahead and move forth with this and take the next step and get everything solidified for March 26th, 27th, or that Saturday?
What?
So you go ahead and just continue with the process.
I think if we don't have any issues with it, does everybody feel comfortable with that? Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it, Dennis.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ray. Anybody else?
I just want to say, I spoke at the city council meeting about us meeting monthly. I do think that's an option if the commission wants to do that. I also do think there's an opportunity for us to meet in person if the commission wants to explore that in the near future. I enjoyed seeing each other's company. I also think that at some point, I hope the commission could get together outside of a meeting and share a meal or do something as a group to build that community teamwork. Those are my 3 comments. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Alex. I went to Dave Pacheco's meeting and I'm looking for my notes. But there were, it was very informative. There were, he brought up SB 8, which he discussed with this, was discussed with the city lawyer, city attorney. Does everybody know what SB 8 is?
SB 9, isn't it?
SB 9, excuse me. Why do I have 8? SB 9, does everybody know what that is?
Mhm.
So that's gonna be, the city is working on mitigating ways that, so people don't go overboard if they decide to take advantage of it. They're putting limitations on those. Not limitations, they're just working on mitigation processes. Let's see. He discussed what was going on with the projects throughout Seaside East. My memory is failing me. The main gate project was discussed. Goodness, what's the other one? Well, all the projects were discussed and the status of each project. I think we're in litigation for a couple of them right now.
Campus Town, was that one of them? Campus
Excuse
Town?
me, yeah, Campus Town, right, that's one of, yeah. So, yes, it was a very informative meeting. I'm sure I'll have more information as soon as I find my notes. I'm sorry, I walked in for work and sat down at my computer. So do we have any more commissioner reports? Anybody else? All right. Well then, I guess we can adjourn, but before we do we want to make a date? We want to schedule a date for our next meeting. Do we want to meet monthly? And okay, let's meet monthly. Do we want to try and meet in person? Does everybody feel comfortable we're masked up in person?
Yes,
I do.
Okay,
I do.
Yes.
so, now, okay, let's, everybody get their calendars out. If, do we want to meet, we should probably meet before, in March. So you want, March will be on our next meeting? March
Why
8th?
don't we- Yeah. Just start all over. That's, we used to meet the first Tuesday of the month. That's
Tuesday.
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, first Tuesday of the month is the 1st.
And I'm gone the 8th, so the first would be better for me. But it's up to the-
The
Okay,
first,
the
Wait,
1st.
did we- Yeah, did we make we done the first Tuesday, didn't we? Or was it Monday? I can't remember now since we changed our, was it the first
first
Monday or the
Tuesday.
first
Okay,
Tuesday?
so do we want to continue with that, then the first Tuesday of every month?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Yeah,
Matt's okay with that?
everybody feels good with it? Okay, so we'll meet on March 1st at 6 PM. At City Hall.
City Hall.
Yes, I believe the location for NIC is City Hall Conference Room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Little,
Yeah, just one quick thing. Dominique, I think we still have to call that a special meeting. Is that correct? Because I don't think we've changed from quarterly. So it's okay to meet monthly, but every meeting, we're gonna say that we're gonna be doing a special meeting until that changes.
That's correct, because the Seaside Municipal Code states that the commissions are meeting on a quarterly basis. Then any meetings outside of that scheduling will be considered a special meeting
okay,
until the Muni Code changes.
Oh,
gotcha.
Which doesn't really make a difference in what you're discussing. It just has to be kind of followed.
mm.
Correct.
That way, all right. So we'll have a special well, actually, yeah, we'll have a special meeting on March 1st at 6 PM. Is that what we're gonna say? Is that what? Okay, all right. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Who wants a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
right, Veronica, aye.
Nikki. All right. Well, thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned at 7:18 PM.